meeting. I would like to welcome the designated observers to the board. I would like to note that Doreen and Sarah, observer for the Senate Majority Leader Dean Skelos, is with us, and Jay Lifton, observer for Assembly Minority Leader Brian Cole, are here today with us. With that, I will now entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the last annual board meeting, which was held on July 23rd, 2012.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Can I get a vote?
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
With that, the board meeting minutes from last year are approved. The next item on the agenda is the financial plan for fiscal years 2014 to 2017. I would ask the mayor to present the city's four-year financial plan.
Well, thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, let me thank the members of the board for their excellent work and partnership over the last 12 years that our administration has been in office. The board, as I'm sure all of you know, was instrumental in guiding the city out of the fiscal crisis of the 1970s, and they have helped us weather the fiscal challenges of the last dozen years as well. When our administration came into office back in 2002, the city, if you remember, was reeling from the attacks of 9/11, and as we guided the city's recovery and restored strength to its economy, we also restored order to its finances. We bounced back stronger and faster than anyone imagined possible, but we were challenged again as we contended with the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. And even as cities and states across the nation laid off public work employees and cut back on services, I'm happy to say that our city's sound financial management and pro-growth economic strategies allowed us to enter the recession later than the rest of the country and come out of it sooner than the rest of the country. So we went into it later, we came out sooner, and it really was because of the planning that we had done earlier. That had never happened before. Historically, New York City always has entered recession sooner and took longer to recover. But the city's fiscal management and targeted investments not only helped us come back stronger and sooner, they've also positioned us to weather future downturns even better than we did the last. Last year, our city and region were set back again by Hurricane Sandy, the worst natural disaster, we think, in New York's history. We've worked hard since then, along with our federal and state partners, to help impacted businesses reopen doors for customers and help homeowners recover and rebuild more resiliently. And I did want to thank Governor Cuomo and his team for working closely with us during and after the storm, from the restoration centers that we jointly staffed to get people the immediate help they needed, to the work that we have been doing together on long-term recovery. As you can imagine, the storm was a tremendous challenge, but thanks to a groundbreaking response effort, the city has once again bounced back. We are on stronger footing and poised for an even stronger future. 11 years after my first appearance before this board, we have every reason to be confident in the city's future. That confidence is reflected in the fact that for the first time since 1950, more people are moving into New York City than away from it. They've been drawn here in part by our record-breaking public safety gains. Crime is down 33% since '01, and last year we had the lowest number of murders and shootings in the city's recorded history. This year we are happy to say on pace to break both of those records by a significant amount. Murders and shootings are both down another 28% citywide since last year. So from a record, we're down another 28% with slightly less than half a year to go. And those safety gains aren't isolated to a few neighborhoods. They've been shared by every borough. 2 decades ago, Manhattan's Upper East Side was considered one of the safest parts of our city. Today, nearly every single precinct in the city has fewer violent crimes than the Upper East Side did back then. To put that turnaround in perspective, let me give you a couple examples. Consider how the Bronx, which 2 decades ago was one of the nation's most violent places, compares to some of the nation's big cities today. The Bronx has slightly more residents than Dallas, Texas. But while the Bronx had 32 murders in the first half of 2013, Dallas had 71, more than twice as many. The Bronx has about the same number of people as the city of Philadelphia, But Philadelphia had 116 murders through July 1st, nearly 4 times as much as the Bronx did. In 1990, the year when our city had its most homicides, there were 651 murders in the Bronx. This year, for the first time since 1966, the year that I came to New York, the Bronx is on pace to have fewer than 100 homicides. Families are being drawn to New York by our stronger economy. The number of private sector jobs in our city has eclipsed the record high set back in the 1960s. We've gained back more than 275% of jobs lost during the recession, and most of that growth is happening outside of Manhattan, reflecting the efforts we made to invest in neighborhoods in every borough. Brooklyn in particular has experienced tremendous growth, accounting for nearly 40% of all jobs created since 2001. And today, the proportion of total private sector jobs that are outside of Manhattan is at an all-time high. That's a great sign for the future of our city. So is the continuing growth of our tech sector, in which the city has made significant investments as part of a broader efforts to diversify the economy. The number of tech jobs has grown significantly since 2005 as more and more tech companies are deciding to base or expand their operations in New York. Over the past decade, the number of venture capital deals in New York City grew by something like 160% faster than any place else in the country. Last year, there were about 100 New York City-based tech companies acquired for a total of nearly something like $8.3 billion. The new jobs these companies are creating in New York are good-paying jobs that create revenue for our city, and they will keep us at the center of the innovations that are driving the 21st century economy. The budget we announced last month with the help of the City Council Speaker, Christine Quinn, will help us build on these gains. The budget was delivered balanced and on time, just as our budgets have been for each of the last 12 years. It preserves essential services without raising taxes on New Yorkers. It increases city support for priorities we share with the council. For example, working with the council, we provided some $58 million to the city's housing authority. In addition to supporting the core mission of providing public housing, that fund will also help maintain senior centers and other community programs at NYS developments. We've also agreed to commit $250 million in city capital funds to projects in our plan to build a stronger, more resilient New York that we issued last month. Those projects will make New York better able to withstand future major coastal storms and other risks posed by climate change. We have also maintained the strength of the FDNY. There will be no reductions in the number of fire companies in the city. City support for public libraries and cultural institutions will also remain essentially the same as it is in the current fiscal year, and that means that our cultural sector will have the support it needs to continue creating jobs and driving economic growth in our city. We were able to achieve these goals, I'm happy to say, without raising taxes. We can do that in part because of the recent State Court of Appeals ruling in the city's favor on the borough taxi plan, which will allow us to go ahead with the sale of new taxi medallions. We've also we're also aided by the fact that interest rates have remained lower than we forecast they would be, and that's produced something like $200 million in savings, including savings realized from refinancing the city's debt. Excuse me, miss, in the front row, it's really disconcerting. It's hard to concentrate when people are reading their iPads. If we could just focus on this, it would be deeply appreciated. Thank you. During the current fiscal year, city tax revenues have also run somewhat ahead of our forecast. Much of that has come in the form of higher than expected real estate tax collections. We have managed the city's finances responsibly, and we'll continue to do that for every remaining day of our tenure here. We will leave our successes in City Hall with New York on sound fiscal footing, better poised for continued growth and competitiveness in the years to come than it has ever been. At the same time, the city's future financial stability does depend on the next administration's willingness to not bend to the demands of labor unions for retroactive pay raises. Acquiescing to the union's demands would severely undermine the city's fiscal health. Our administration has refused to pay retroactive raises because taxpayers cannot afford them, and we certainly didn't get any retroactive productivity increases. And we will not saddle taxpayers or the next administration with debts that we cannot afford. If retroactive raises, just to put it in perspective, were granted on the terms the unions have been demanding, it would cost our taxpayers at least $780 billion. And the city would immediately have to raise property taxes substantially or nearly double income taxes, either of which I think we all agree would badly damage our economy. The alternative could also be to slash essential services, which would have a terrible impact on the quality of life, driving away residents and severely hampering our ability to assist the most vulnerable. We are ready to sign contracts with the unions that provide reasonable raises going forward, make no mistake about that, funded largely through healthcare reforms, but they have to be funded some ways, and certainly that you cannot fund retroactive raises because you can't do retroactive productivity increases. We have set aside money to fund those reasonable future raises, and we have proposed healthcare savings that would bring city workers more in line with state employees. As this board has noted, we have been working with the municipal unions on a request for proposals for a new health insurance plan that would modernize the current system and generate substantial savings. We will be ready to issue this solicitation as early as next week, and we hope our partners in labor will work with us to get that done. Overhauling the current plan will not only improve the care our nearly 300,000 employees receive, it is essential to putting healthcare costs on a sustainable footing going forward. During the recession, we managed to maintain services and balance the budget without resorting to mass layoffs, as you know. In fact, many municipal workers got raises during the low point of the national recession, and many have continued to get seniority and promotional raises. By holding the line on retroactive raises, we are putting the next administration in a position of strength when it comes to contract negotiations. Union leaders, we do not think, will wait another 4 years for a new contract, which will put the next administration in a much stronger position to negotiate much-needed pension and health care savings. The city's future, I think it's fair to say, has never been brighter. Our streets are safer than they've been in decades. Our schools are stronger, and our economy is poised to continue innovating, creating jobs, and welcoming new businesses around the 5 boroughs. The number of big real estate projects announced in the last 2 months is just mind-boggling, and it would appear that every one of these are on sound footing and going forward. If you are a construction worker in the city, you're going to have a very good few years of working every single day. Our population is at a record high. The number of private sector jobs is at a record high. The number of tourists coming here is at a record high. Life expectancy is at a record high. And we just have to continue doing what we've been doing, and the future of this city, I think, is bright. And I did want to say it is a pleasure to work with the members of this board, even during the challenging times over the last 12 years. And I particularly wanted to thank Mark Page, our Commissioner for Management and Budget, for all the work that he has done in making sure that we balanced our budget and that the numbers were public and reflective of what was really going on and the monies were well spent. And in closing, let me thank the members of the board for your service to the city and the state and your partnership. And I look forward to hearing the comments of others.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let's move on. And Comptroller DiNapoli, do you have any comments on the city's financial report?
Yes, I do, Bob. Thank you. And thank you, Mayor Bloomberg, for your report to the board. I have just a few observations to make regarding the city's economy and its fiscal condition. Members of the board should all have a copy of our review of the financial plan for the city, prepared by the Office of State Deputy Controller for New York City, Ken Blyweiss, and his team. Ken joins me this afternoon. New York City has bounced back from the Great Recession